I'm very pleased to be speaking here at the Red Cloud Mining Conference today and to share Teranga's growth story with you. Before I get started, I'd like to draw your attention to the forward-looking statements on slide 3. So for those of you who are not familiar with Teranga, we are a West African gold producer with 2 mines and a portfolio of prospective, early and advanced stage exploration projects. We have a realistic roadmap to achieve our vision of becoming a mid-tier West African producer in the next 3 to 5 years and generate significantly higher free cash flows and benefit all of our stakeholders while doing so. So the last time we presented at a Red Cloud mining event, we were a single asset producer. Today we have 2 producing mines. Our second mine, Wahgnion, is located in Burkina Faso and just recently achieved its first gold pour. Also earlier this year, we set the stage for what has the potential to become our 3rd mine. That would be Golden Hill, also located in Burkina. We published an initial resource estimate, and we are now working on advancing the project towards the PEA and feasibility stage of development. Also, in Côte d'Ivoire, we have assembled a very prospective portfolio of exploration projects that we believe could lay the foundation for the next leg of growth beyond Golden Hill. So we believe that Teranga can become a mid-tier gold producer simply by advancing our organic pipeline of projects. Now let's start with our flagship asset, Sabodala, where in 2018, we achieved our 3rd consecutive year of record production. In 2018, production went up by about 5% to just over 245,000 ounces. We also beat the low end of our cost guidance and generated about $50 million in free cash flow. I also like to highlight that both in 2017 and 2018, we beat production guidance by a healthy margin. And with a very strong start, a record half year in 2019, Sabodala is set to have another solid year. So one point that I would really like to highlight is the fact that at Sabodala we have been able to replace and add to reserves. After producing about 1.8 million ounces since late 2010, Sabodala still has over 2 million ounces in reserves, a decade-plus mine life, and a large resource base to further extend that mine life. In the near term, we expect to increase reserves from Niakafiri, which is the largest deposit on the mine license. In 2020, we will relocate the Sabodala village, which sits on top of Niakafiri. And following that, we will begin an exploration or a drilling program and begin mining the deposit. Now moving on to Wahgnion. Construction is complete, and first gold pour was achieved in late August. The project was completed 2 months ahead of our initial schedule and is expected to come under budget. Most importantly, this was all done without a lost time injury, with over 5.3 million hours worked. Now we continue to fine-tune the mill, and the throughput is expected to ramp up during the 4th quarter of this year, in line with our guidance as we focus on ramping up to commercial production. Wahgnion is expected to produce between 30 and 40,000 ounces in 2019, and that is up from our initial estimates of about 18,000 ounces. In 2020, production with Wahgnion up and running is expected to be about 300 to 350,000 ounces company-wide. At Wahgnion, in the first 5 years of its operation, annual production is expected to average about 130,000 ounces at all-in sustaining costs of about $800 per ounce. It's also expected to generate about $60 million in net free cash flow at around $12.50 per ounce. Late last year, we increased reserves at Wahgnion by 40% to 1.6 million ounces and extended mine life to 13 years from 9. It's important to note that the current reserve estimate is only based on the 4 main pit areas, and there are over a dozen targets within trucking distance yet to be explored. And within the next 2 years, we will begin a multi-year exploration program to optimize the mine plan and also extend the mine life. And ultimately, we believe that Wahgnion, much like Sabodala, will have a long 15 to 20-year mine life. Now, the successful commissioning of Wahgnion is an important milestone for us. It takes us from being a single asset producer to a multi-asset producer, a change that is generally rewarded in the market. Now, the next project in our pipeline is Golden Hill. Golden Hill is our most advanced exploration project. Located in Burkina Faso on the Houndé Belt, Golden Hill is a long trend with a number of significant discoveries. These include Semafo's Mana Mine, Endeavour's Houndé Mine, and Roxgold's Yaramako Mine. This project has progressed quickly, producing a series of very good drill results from numerous prospects, and they're all located within a very short radius. In January of this year, we announced a very early stage initial resource for the project that contained about 450,000 ounces of indicated resources at 2 grams per ton, and also 644,000 ounces of inferred gold resources at 1.7 grams per ton. And we believe this resource provides a solid base and a good grade to build on. In terms of next steps for Golden Hill, we have set aside a minimum of $5 million for an exploration and drill program for the remainder of this year. There are a number of targets that we plan to explore, both within the tight radius and also along the 40 to 50 kilometer trend. It's still early in our exploration program, and there's a lot of work to be done. Having said that, we are well advanced on our metallurgical test work to advance our technical and economic assessments and to move the project towards the PEA and ultimately the feasibility stage of development. So for the balance of the year, in addition to the drill program, we will be doing our engineering and ASIA work. We're excited about the future of this project and plan on applying for a mine license next year. Now turning to the underexplored Côte d'Ivoire, where more than 1/3 of the West African Greenstone Belt is located. We entered Côte d'Ivoire through 2 joint ventures on very prospective land packages. The first one consists of 3 early-stage exploration permits with Miminvest. That's a company controlled by our largest shareholder and board member, David Mimran. And the second joint venture is called EFIMA, which is a long trend of prospective belts extending down from Ghana. Results from our early work is promising, and we are excited to continue our work and update the market as we receive more results. So we at Teranga strongly believe in sharing the benefits of responsible mining with our stakeholders. And our achievements in corporate social responsibility range from programs focused on water, health, to sustainable income generation, education, and culture. And local employment and promoting Senegalese nationals at the mine has always been a priority for us. Last year marked the highest number of Senegalese nationals in senior management positions. At the same time, Sabodala is one of the safest mines in the world. It has a lost time frequency rate of less than 1 million hours worked or one incident per 1 million hours worked. And that compares to an average of about 5. And that is something that we are very proud of. At Wagnon, we recruited and trained over 650 skilled workers during construction and transitioned about 70 of them into operational roles now that the mine is up and running. We operate according to the highest CSR standards and best practices, and our focus on people and obtaining social license has facilitated our growth in Senegal and is now paving the way for our expansion into Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. So in summary, we now have 2 operating mines in 2 jurisdictions, which together, starting in 2020, will produce about 300 to 350,000 ounces while generating strong free cash flows. We have a 3rd project, Golden Hill, which we are preparing for the PEA and feasibility stage of development. And we also have our exploration programs in Côte d'Ivoire that could shape the future of Teranga. Last year, we generated about $100 million in EBITDA and nearly $100 million in operating cash flow. And we expect this year to be better. Now, as Wagnon achieves commercial production, we get one step closer to closing the gap on the mid-tier status. And we expect that there will be a re-rate in our stock, so stay tuned. I will leave it there, unless there are questions.